This podcast features a lot of adult language.
Peasant magic.
This is Podmaster Mike in the Orc-Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there. I have three awesome DMs in the room with me tonight. I have John King.
Hello.
You can find him on Twitter at PresterJohnRex. I have James Houlihan.
Hello.
You can find him on Twitter too.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
I've been there for a while.
At Chainmail Ninja.
It's true.
And Brett.
Well,
Brett Rude.
hello.
Whoa.
How you doing?
Zoom out.
Yeah, he went up to me.
You can find him on Twitter as well at Ovault the Great, and I am Podmaster Mike, or Michael. You can find me on Twitter as well at Podmaster Mike. How about that?
My friends call me.
My friends call me Mike.
He's actually John as well. We just call him Mike.
It's easier that way.
Confuse people.
We don't like talking to two different Johns at the table. So we're going to be finishing our alignment debates. Well, not debates, our breakdowns, and then our debate characters that we've been pulling off those internet meme charts. Mm-hmm. Thank God, because
Yeah,
I'm fucking
fuck
sick of
those.
talking about alignments.
Some dude's like, I think Yoda's a great example of chaotic evil. I'm going to put it in a fucking meme. Like, thanks, dickhead. Now I have to talk about it on a podcast.
Please tell me you didn't actually see Yoda as
No, I was.
You have?
I mean, I might as well have. I mean,
Oh, he's all, choke you, I will.
Yes. Why so serious?
How would you say? Alignments
down,
finish,
dude.
we will.
the sad part is alignments
No?
are so vague,
Whatever.
you could make an argument.
Fuck Star Wars.
How dare
Just
you?
kidding. What's Star Wars?
Oh, gosh.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
Shut your dirty mouth.
Shut your fucking mouth. And then we're also going to go into the discussion of alignment as a whole and kind of just talk about it a little bit and just all our thoughts on all these breakdowns that we did. So we're going to be done with alignments after this episode.
For a while, anyways.
Yeah.
And it'll crop
It'll
up in
always
regular
come up.
discussions.
It's always going to come back up because people feel like we need it.
But then we'll just stab it in its face.
We'll stab it in its fucking face.
It'll be lawful good stab, though. It'll be for the mercy and the
Okay.
good.
Yeah, speak for
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, excited about James?
Today
I
I have
start with John a lot, so...
two things I'm excited about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One of the, and you know what's
I
funny?
got three, but...
And I feel like this is getting worse as I get older, but I think I'm becoming more susceptible to advertising because more and more I'm clicking stuff off my Facebook feed and being like, ooh, and then I end up buying it.
Oh, man.
Like this t-shirt, but no. What I saw was a company called, and it must have been because I went to Grimfrost and got those beard rings, because a similar company called alehorn.com,
Oh, yeah.
and they had an ad for...
Well, you never search for horn-type products either.
Well, I mean, I wasn't when I found this. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, they had an ad for, because they were like, Father's Day is coming up. Why don't you buy this father-son,
I saw that ad.
Yeah. And I bought it because it's awesome. Oh, shit. Hold on. Yeah. Anyways, no, I just want to make sure the door wasn't open so my dad wouldn't hear. I know he doesn't watch this shit. So, it's actually really cool. It's a matching set of ale horns, but they're all really nicely done, and they're engraved with a couple of cool runes. One's Mjolnir and one's
Nice.
something else that I don't know. Feel free to correct me, internet. And they custom engrave like names on them. So the Thor one has my name on it, and then the Odin one has my dad's name on it. So it's like a father-son thing. So I got that, and we actually brewed some mead a few months ago. And that's almost ready. So that'll be cool. We can share a cup of our home-brewed mead with these drinking horns. And I actually got him hooked on Vikings. So
Nice.
there's a theme going.
You gotta give him some beard rings.
Well, the mead.
doesn't have a beard.
First
Grow it out.
he
It doesn't matter. Just watching Vikings, grow a beard, put in some rings.
My dad had a beard when I was little.
My dad's growing a beard, by the way.
I wanna
If you
see
haven't
this.
seen
I'm
it,
excited.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah, because
He's
it's
a
gonna be
sailor
white.
now.
it's gonna be like white, right? So
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
gonna
give
be
us
like
beard
that old
rings.
berserker dude.
Everyone gets beard rings.
Have you started watching
Beard
Vikings
rings
yet?
for
I will.
everyone.
You're gonna like it.
One
There's this
thing at a time. Game of Thrones.
No, you'll like it. There's this one character. I don't want to give too much away, but he's basically this old warrior. He's all white beard and stuff, and he's like, all my friends and warriors are dead, and Odin won't let me into Valhalla because I haven't died gloriously in combat. So please let me come and fuck shit up with you.
He just wrecks house constantly.
Yeah, at first everyone's like, this old guy wants to come raiding. What a noob. And then he's like, no, seriously, I want to die. This is going to be sweet. Trust me. So, like,
But he fucking...
Yeah, he trucks a
wrecks
few
house,
people
yeah.
for sure.
oh, yeah.
What are you talking about, John?
Oh, well, I told you I had a lot of fire in the irons.
Yes,
A lot of
your
fire in the
irons
iron.
are full of fire.
But no, my not so much. My iron is cooled
I don't know. Keep thinking about it.
because it came.
Ew.
I have to, you take it. So I bought you guys something.
Okay, never mind. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I gotta make sure.
Stop making jokes, man.
So,
Oh, look at
wait for it. Hold on, I'll show this because wait for it.
Dude, that is
awesome.
freaking rad.
Dude, have Brett hold that up so
Yeah,
the
hold that
camera
up.
can
Yeah,
see
hold
it.
it.
So on the back, we have our most excellent logo.
Thanks,
The
Bill.
Orc-Chop Express, based off of Big Trouble in Little China, the Pork-Chop Express.
Then on the front, we have an orc hand doing the symbol from Big Trouble in Little China.
That's freaking rad.
That's awesome.
Look at that. Be-de-doo.
Where did you get this orc drawing?
My friend Forrest did it. Thank you,
Oh,
Forrest.
shit. Forrest.
Thanks, Forrest.
Yeah.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so
Fucking rad.
I asked him if he would do it because we were talking one day during a per diem, and I just got this smile in my head going.
It was a flash of brilliance.
I was like, I'm going to do something cool. That's for James. It
Oh,
should
thank you.
be. I hope these are
It's
your right
James sized.
sizes. If not, I have
I don't
other
even
ones.
care if it's too small. I'm putting this fucking shit on right now.
Oh, shit.
And of course,
Awesome.
John
What'd you get?
size.
Let me see.
What I get? Oh, I got an XL.
I got XL.
Yep.
I didn't know
Let me
which.
see. But I'm in 2 at the moment. I fluctuate between the 2.
Well,
So
I,
as soon as my man boobs go down, it'll be wearable.
well, there's
Stay
Constantly
puffing right
wearable.
for now.
well, I also could do
So, or chop on the back.
I like the
chop
little
on the back, hand on the front.
I like the little orky fingerprint. It's cool.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Here, I'll even put mine on.
I'm not doing that. I can't. I
Be like
can't
boiling.
wear. Yeah, it's hot as balls. I don't know
Yes,
what you.
yes, 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 yes.
I told you I wasn't doing that anymore. I stick by my oath.
There
What
you
kind
go.
of lawful James character would I be? if
Nice.
I wasn't?
That's lawful.
That is absolutely not what that is. It's
So I bought these.
actually a V for Victor.
Dude, these are awesome. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
yeah, these are freaking.
I love the hand. Dude, thanks, Forrest.
Yeah, thank you so much, Forrest.
And it's
really
in forest
cool.
green.
It's in forest green.
Forest green.
No, he probably picked it on his own. But yeah, I have a couple of extras. So maybe
Ooh,
there
some
might be.
swag, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some.
I smell a Twitter contest coming on
Potentially, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
for
Let
select
me know
sized people.
what to put out on the Twitters.
Yes, we will tweet them. But if you like the shirts, let us know.
Cool.
I'll do it because I'm so good at tweeting.
In that case, you let us know because he's terrible at it.
We played a D&D game this weekend. I know. Ooh, what am I getting down here? And I'll talk about that more in a second. And I think Brett wants to talk about that too, actually, because he ran a game this last weekend. But as usual, the rule: new character, new dice. Right?
Yep.
Well, I didn't buy a full set because what I wanted was more than a full set. But my character does have a giant ass fucking gold metal 20-sided die.
Look at that thing.
What did it roll?
Oh, it rolled an 8 right then.
It's the worst
Die, bro.
Yeah, you know what?
Just kidding.
Actually,
Five.
it's
That
kind
wasn't a
of
roll. That was a plop.
it's kind of good that it was rolling shitty because I checked with Brett ahead of time, but I was like, I have this idea for this crazy fucking old sorcerer dude. Imagine the disguise Jafar wears in Aladdin, where he's like bald and like
shit.
beard. Yeah. So I checked with Brett ahead of time because I had this crazy idea. Like he's his crazy sorcerer dude, and he's always just fucking up and doing really weird magic and stuff. So I was like, I took wild magic for the sorcerer, but I was like, Brett, I want to roll wild magic anytime I roll a 10 or less. So
instead of
I
on
like
one,
would walk
normally-
up to bad guys to
Jesus
do
Christ.
like Ray of Frost on them, and I'd roll and be like, an eye popped up on my forehead, and I had advantage on
He was just like a really bad
He's just a really fucking bad sorcerer, and it had some
like,
entertaining moments.
Yeah.
I will say.
You should give him like luck, defeat luck as like to counteract that.
yeah.
Just like
where he could burn the
But
luck.
you know, and he was human, so
just
I had the variant rule to take a feat, but I didn't. I took more languages because he's just fucking weird.
wait, you burned your feet on languages?
yeah, there's a linguist feat.
Dude, I asked him if I could roll wild magic on 10 or less. I wasn't trying to re-roll once. Like, that was the point, was that he was half the time he's supposed to be kind of doing just fucking off.
Hey, man, if it works, it works.
So
for you.
it was pretty fun.
There was some pretty because he
that
didn't
ties-
tell anyone.
I didn't
And he's
tell
and he
anyone,
rolls
only-
and this eyeball pops up. And they're all like,
Tiffany's like, what is he doing? What kind of character is this?
She's
somebody
like,
else coming
Very
along?
confused. Yeah, she's like, I don't understand. This is not in the rules. It's like, well, I got the okay, so I went with it. But
funny.
it ties into one of the other things I was excited about. As I have 3 things this week, so I'm gonna let Brett go.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I'm gonna let Brett go after I say this, and I'll come back to my other one. Maybe after James figures out what his
He
last
forgot.
one.
that's what the assumption that I remember.
But my wife played D&D for the first time, and
Cool.
you know, she has this perception of what D&D was, and she was afraid to do it, and she thought it was going to be this
Why was she
super
afraid?
new thing. Well, because she's like, you ever have like a wife or girlfriend say something like, it's just something I can't do. Like I can't even describe what her perception of it was, but she had it. And we played, she had a great time, she was laughing, and she's like, it's not what I thought of at all. Like, Brett was really interested to talk to her like afterwards,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, what did you think and all this stuff, and she said it was not what I thought it would be at all.
Cool.
And her character was awesome.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yes,
did you wanna
and then so I know you were excited about the game, so why don't you talk about the game?
So that's what I'm excited about was running this game because not only do we have Shallon as a new player, but one of my daughter's friend's father. We just found out.
Fathers, brothers,
Yeah.
nephews, cousins, former roommates.
Yes, exactly. So one of my daughters, she has a really good friend, and his father apparently used to play D&D
Okay.
up through 3rd edition, and hadn't played for years.
Just like us.
Yeah, and then he found out, was talking to Tiffany, and Tiffany had mentioned it, and he's like, you played D&D, and he got really excited, and so, we didn't have anything really going on Sunday, so we're like, yeah, just come over, and then we're like, well, Mike, I was talking to Mike anyway, I was like, you guys want to come over? He's like, yeah, let's bring Shallon, and turn it into a thing, so...
Cool, thanks for inviting me.
No, I'm just got a last minute thing.
I was actually kind of glad, by the way, too. Not that I wouldn't want you
I'm
guys.
glad we didn't invite James.
No,
I'd be glad
you
too.
have to
I
let me
would've fucked
finish
shit
that
up.
statement. For Shallon getting in the first time, I didn't want her to be
Yeah.
intimidated. It was nice that Tiffany's a new player, and this guy was coming
Totally.
back from not playing in a long time.
I was laughing
not
about
like
getting in
you'd
the
be,
first
not like you'd be rude or anything. Whatever.
Wait, why would I be rude?
No,
I said not like
be-
you would be rude or anything.
Yeah, I would. No.
Whatever. See, yeah, fuck this guy.
You did
the whole
right
thing was
not
meant to be
inviting
rude.
him.
The whole thing was meant to be rude.
That's what you just found out right there.
So, but what was neat was Shallon made a really cool character. She made a Lightfoot halfling monk. And with that combination, pro tip out there,
She had nimble, I think
Yeah.
is what it's called.
she had this ability where she could basically, if
She
the
could move
creature was
through.
larger than her, medium or larger, she could move through their spaces because she can just go right between their legs. So she go whoop, between the legs and then jump up and do an attack from behind.
With advantage, and the monk ability. So she was using a monk eligible item, which
Yeah.
is a short sword. So it counts as a monk item, which also gives her a bonus action with unarmed strike. So she was doing 2 attacks from behind with advantage.
She also punched 2 guys in the balls,
Yes.
like really hard.
Her first thing
Was it
she
a double
did.
dick punch?
The first no, it was
If
one.
not, then
It was
one,
one.
then another. It's
you
not
got
the
some- You got a
same.
ways to go.
Yeah.
I'm just
So
kidding.
First thing my wife did in D&D was punch someone in the balls.
yeah.
That seems fair. I mean, the whole point's about acting out these latent fantasies.
I know.
So-
But she
punch
was like
people in
this
the dick, go for
bouncing Betty of Death. She'd twing and like pop up and punch him in the back
That's
of the head.
Real quick, just for people that haven't read the book, anyone with acrobatics can actually just use their move action to tumble and cross over anyone's space.
Oh.
So Those are your acrobatic types.
I'm not doing that because last time I did that, I ended up in a hill bale.
That's fair.
So, so we got to meet Patrick. Give me a little call out here, Patrick, because he's been checking out the show. Patrick was playing a Dragonborn rogue who derailed my original thought of the game. I mean, I went into this very just loosey-goosey, like, let's just play a game.
Yeah.
And I put them in prison, and the first thing he does, he's a black Dragonborn. And we've all
Why would
played
you
Black
play?
Dragonborn.
It's just like, hold on, let me take care of this.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And he, so Tiffany was playing. This was pretty cool. Tiffany played a fighter.
Whoa,
Yeah,
right.
she was nervous. She's like, I don't know what I should do.
You run up and hit stuff. It's really fun.
She made a character named the Scarlet Countess, and she was a pirate.
It's an epic
And
name.
yeah,
Pirates
and
are cool.
And she. And it's funny because she's like, oh, I felt like I wasn't doing a whole lot. Like, I was just fighting stuff. I'm like, your character's awesome. She has proficiency
Just
with a
fighting?
whip,
How dare you.
With a whip and a sword. But since she was chained up and he uses acid, we said that she had the whip, like, chained to her hand still throughout the whole game. So
It's like a
she's-
length of chain?
Yeah, using the chain.
Well, so she was in between this like half orc and him, and he was trying to spit acid and stuff, and he spit acid in him out, and then I believe the acid got on her chain, right?
Yeah, and it
so
burned
she's
through her
still
chain.
chained with the
she had a
bracelet,
length
but
of
she
chain
has a
still.
length of chain attached to her, so that was her whip. Was a
Yeah,
chain.
dude. She's like
Yeah.
fucking Ghost Rider. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And so for that, I gave her whip a little extra damage. Instead of die 4, I said die 6 because I'm like, it's a
Yeah, it's made out of metal.
Yeah.
That should do
So
at least
so-
like club damage.
And she was like slashing people. There was a part she rolled a 1, and I said just like Mad Max, like he got caught on something. She's like, ah!
You know what you should fucking do?
But it was great. I thought it was awesome.
Get one of those swords, like I think that Eve chick from Soul Calibur,
Oh, that like
or that weird guy from
Ivy.
Brotherhood of the
Yeah.
Wolf.
It's Ivy.
Ivy. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
So the game was a lot of fun. I
Sounds
got
like it.
Yeah.
messages that they had a blast and they wanted to do it again. It was kind of lighthearted, just kind of fun. Let's play a game thing. So, and I think Shannon had a blast. You had fun. I had fun. It was just kind of fun time. So I was excited.
Brett's cheating
about
on
that.
us.
Oh, and the other thing that was
cool.
neat is we've talked a lot about meeting new players and playing with people you don't know. And it's been a long time since I've played with someone I don't know. So this guy named Patrick came over. I even asked him what type of player he is. He's all, I'm the type of guy that creates chaos in a game. Like, when everyone wants to
Oh,
zig,
fun.
I like to zag. I was like, hey, at least you're honest. And that's exactly what he did. And well, cool, we had fun.
He fucks some shit
Yeah.
up.
Well, that's also fun because you can plan around that, right?
Yeah.
Like if
A bit.
like I definitely am guilty of throwing in an obvious quest objective that I don't want the players to go for because I know they're never going to go for it. So that's always an option too.
yeah.
Be like, this new guy rolls into town and he puts some new shit up on the bounty board. Check it out. And then, no, fuck that. We're going over here. And they're like, oh, well, if you want to check that out, I guess there's something else I had planned. So,
That sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. You'll have to ask him. Actually, we didn't talk to him, but he hadn't played since 3.5. I'd be interested to hear how he liked moving to 5th edition.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he didn't like officially move into 5th edition, but I mean he hasn't played since,
Yeah.
or for a few years, right? Something like that.
Well, no, not since Sunday, no. But
Yes,
he hadn't
yes.
played before that for a long time.
I do this podcast with some DMs, and I'm the player, but not for long. Out of the Abyss, the Underdark. I will be running you guys on a campaign at some point. I've already got the first chapter down. Could probably, what?
I'm rolling a throwaway character.
I'm also rolling throwaway character, but did you get the DM guide too?
Not yet. Don't need it.
Have you finished reading more?
Oh, doesn't need it.
I literally learn everything from the 3 best DMs I know.
Oh, flattery
some
will
of-
get you everywhere.
Not in my case. I am a
But
cruel
now
DM.
you won't be able to say I'm joined here with 3.
No, I did not get the DM book
kidding.
because I will just take one of the 3 that are available
And not read it.
and not read it. I will say, yes, I got it. John, I'm good. I'm good.
I get a critical on anything I roll between 1 and a 20.
Yeah. That's not how that rule goes. It's like this.
Oh, you have the critical feat? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I critical all the time.
No, obviously I'm not going to be ready right away, but I'm reading it. I'm enjoying it.
Good.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That'll be
awesome.
that'll be
excited
a lot
to
of fun. That's actually supposed to be like one of their better modules.
It's very cool so far. I was telling Brett that I like how it's going to sound like it contradicts itself, but it's really detailed, but also vague at the same time to kind of give you the information you need, but then spark your imagination. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I like
very
it.
cool.
Lost Mine is quite a bit like that too, where it gives you enough that you aren't going to run out of things to work with, but doesn't go into so much detail that you have no room to work, like just no space.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Bridging off that just real quick, I was talking to Tiffany the other day, and she's horribly shy, and I don't think she has really any desire to DM a game or run a game, but I was kind of like, oh, you'll be running a game soon enough. And then she started talking about how she's been reading a bunch of old AD&D modules and getting ideas for games that she wants to write. So she's actually just talking about writing some games just for the heck of it. I was like, that's awesome.
5th edition's open license, so
Yeah.
you can just write modules, and she could use Critical Role and just make PDFs if she wanted.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
man.
so I thought that was really cool because I know she's a really good writer, and I thought that'd be kind of neat. And then she was like, "I'd love to write games and then see you run them or something like that." I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Even better.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then we can put out some OCE modules.
Oh,
Tell Tiffany to get to work.
yeah.
Got deadlines. Put it on the action item list.
Okay. I'll use that. I'll put that on OneNote
One note available through Microsoft.
because you have no
Uh,
choice.
Why don't we jump into our alignment talks? I think we're ready. Got all the excited biz out of the way.
Chaotic good. That's
Chaotic
what we're talking
good.
about tonight.
We are. Yeah, that is the last alignment. No need to roll.
Yeah.
So only one
We
left.
could, but-
So we're going to talk about the breakdown of chaotic good,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll do the example characters.
God, this
oh,
does
8?
does not roll.
Chaotic good. Wait, try again. What else we got?
Oh, do we have the
Sucks.
list of?
It just
16
It just
divided
lands
by
and
8.
slides.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying.
So, and then we'll go into the memes or the meme characters, and we'll pick one. So, Brett,
Right.
why don't you explain chaotic good for us
To the best of my ability.
to the best of your no, do it perfectly. Don't get it wrong.
A chaotic good character. So a chaotic good character believes more in the individual's responsibility to be a good person and do right by others. Believes less in a governing body to tell you to do so. They will be they're good at heart and they will do what's right or what they perceive to be right, regardless of what the law or society tells them. And yeah, I think one of the core things is their belief in people's responsibility for yourself to be a good person. Or that's how they hold themselves. I'm responsible for being good, and I'm not doing it because you're telling me to do it. I'm doing it because I'm a good person. That's my perspective on it.
You guys think about that?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
the way I always
most
think of it
part.
is pretty much similar, or the same thing. It's someone who follows their own moral compass more than any, regimented, like, structured rule thing. I would say it's probably more the difference between someone who's lawful good, who does the right thing, is more just based more on a gut feeling and less than this is what I've been taught.
Yeah.
That's the big difference for me, at least.
I would say a hint of selfishness.
Well, yeah, there's the chaotic aspect, right? So
Right.
that can be interpreted a lot of ways. I think you get a lot of the rebel in there. Mm-hmm. Kind of just kind of someone who might be a little bit more rash, or you're going to get the kind of the good-hearted rogue types in there.
Yeah, the people who will help others, but again, not because anyone else is telling them to, but because they just know that's the right thing. And they'll
Yeah.
go against the grain to do so.
Well, and that's also another thing. You might be getting a lot of like Joan of Arc types, where it's this people's champion type hero who's rising up against the tyrannical government for the good of the people, or the good of whatever, the good of just being good. That's kind of good to me. I don't know. It's funny because I saw on the internet there's a decent amount of confusion. I even saw one thread someone posted where they're just like, "Chaotic Good's the only one I don't get," and to me that was a little weird because it's one of the easier ones to get. You're a good guy, but you're not you're not a goody two shoes.
Yeah. I found this was one of the easiest ones to choose a character from. Like I could probably spout out 3 or 4.
I actually had a bit of a hard time, but just because I couldn't nail one down. But at least when it comes to if say Mike starts a game and he's like, okay, I want everyone to be good guys. You really only have 3 choices, but to me, they're the 2 starkest contrasting ones. You've got Lawful Good, which is like your goody two-shoes, White Knight, and then you've got Chaotic Good, which is your kind of roguish, rule breaker, renegade type, thief with a heart of gold type dude. And then Neutral Good, something else.
Yeah.
Pretty much, if you want to play D&D and be a good guy but not feel bad about killing people once in a while, you're Chaotic Good.
Yeah, if you want to have fun.
Yeah.
You want to have fun.
Chaotic
good character
is the fun good character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you might have fun, role playing being grumpy back in the tavern because you didn't want to go break into the manor house to steal the gem of what you might call it. But whatever.
Yeah.
That's a valuable gem.
It is. It's filled with a bunch of shit.
Yeah, no one knows. That's what
we call it.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to roll our example character?
Let's see what stupid meme.
A D4, please, my good man.
Did you leave it on top?
I did, but if it shifted, it's right here.
D4 is always synced to the bottom.
No, it's not D8.
Why don't you roll, John? I got the list up right here.
Sorry, I had to move the skull.
Asshole.
That's not positioned correctly. Not too far
Reposition the skull. Just stop.
All right, now if that's not right at all.
Look like the back of a tick.
All right. 2. And if this is someone from Harry Potter, I'm re-rolling.
No.
That's worse. Reroll.
Okay.
Veto.
It's from Lord of the Rings, but it's dumb.
1.
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Yeah, I was going to pick that anyway, so thanks for looking at the list and calling it out. I was making a Podmaster decision and just picking Wolverine.
Okay.
Well, I don't want that kind of chicanery in our podcast. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. You rolled a 2, you said no.
Lawful.
You just rolled a 1 and said no Harry Potter, which is Harry Potter. Roll one more time, it'll be 3 or 4.
Wait, no.
Fuck you. I know what the list says.
Oh, I like number 3. Roll 3.
Roll better.
The 4.
God damn it.
Wolverine.
Roll 3.
Okay, let's just pick 3. You don't want to do 4.
Wait.
He doesn't
No, I want to do
one.
them all.
Wait, I rolled 3. Happened eventually. I'm
We
just
need the
curious.
choices between Qui-Gon and Wolverine. The other 2 suck, so we're
Okay,
not doing
tell
it.
you what. Last alignment, we're going to do Wolverine and Qui-Gon Jinn.
Boom.
Boom.
Done.
Sounds good.
Qui-Gon, go first. Start off, James.
Qui-Gon. Yeah, I think it works.
Qui-Gon.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Wait. Are we talking about the little possum guy that sells the bat?
No.
Bantha?
The Qui-Gon
fur?
Jinn.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about.
You're talking
Sells
about Mace
Bantha
Windu.
fur. Oh yeah, that's right, Mace Windu.
No.
I'm still gonna mix up.
Yeah. Hives of Scum and Villainy. Check out Mos Eisley. Mace Windu is a squirrel that sells bantha ribs. But yeah, Qui-Gon, I think he's a pretty much a dead ringer for Chaotic Good. He obviously is good because he's part of the Jedi Order and he actually believes in their cause and everything. But he doesn't. He's kind of like Bruce Lee in his relation to the tradition and all that stuff. You see him doing rash things like taking on Anakin when he's already got a Padawan just on the moment. He goes, "All right, Obi-Wan, you're good to go." When he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck? I'm not ready at all." And he's only in the first movie, so you don't see that much. You're not exposed to him that much, but through the storytelling and the dialogue, they kind of intimate that he's got a history of this sort of behavior. So, yeah, I mean, just based on that, it seems pretty straightforward. He's definitely not neutral, and he's definitely not evil. I don't see... You could make an argument for him being lawful good simply because... you could make the argument that if you make it through the Jedi Order...
John, make the argument. Could he be lawful good?
Sure.
Why?
That's it.
That's it. Probably no.
Well said.
No, because he regardless of him going a little he's just following the gut and possibly just following the force. So he's obviously believing in his tenets. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's deviating from those. He's just saying, he's like, look, I got a hunch. I think this kid, I got to watch this kid, but he's doing it all for, he believes the betterment. So, and look, he went to go to negotiate the Trade Federation stuff that fell through. He went and still saved the queen.
So he was chosen as a diplomat, which you're working within lawful systems.
So, I mean, there are a lot to say that he is very lawful. He just had his moment of saying, hey, you know what? This is the kid. This is the kid that's been prophesized, and you guys can't see it. Let me show you. Let me prove it to you.
Do you think that shifts his alignment, or do you think that it's just one act inside the character that's lawful good?
I think it's one act inside a character that's lawful good, even though I agree that he's chaotic good.
I mean, but that's definitely a case that could be made. Yeah, especially if you paint it in the light of he's lawful to a code, which is he does what he thinks is the right thing to do. And when he sees the golden child show up, he's not going to be like letting it, the Sith get their hands on him or whatever.
Or just not be found at all and hang out on Tatooine.
He might become a famous pod racer.
Sure.
I feel like
he could be a master. A pod master.
Oh, God. Now we have to put you in a pod.
You're on fire tonight.
It's CG pod time.
Yeah.
Just get those goggles.
Oh, God.
Pod racer. Oh, God.
Gets him every
So dumb. Oh, my God.
What's funny is, talk about chaotic good and Star Wars. It's funny that Qui-Gon Jinn is the one that pops up. I feel like almost half the cast of the new Star Wars movie could be labeled as chaotic good.
Hell, half the cast of the old movies were chaotic good as well.
Yeah, there's a strong argument
like you
for
said,
Han
they're the
Solo.
fun characters.
Rey,
Han Solo by the end of the
Chewie.
originals.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck Chewie is. I'm saying lawful. I'm life debt. I'm sticking
Life
to it.
I was kind of. I think Matt Colville made some good points about the personal.
Check out the episode
things.
where we talked about shooting in depth.
So I thought
Fair
she was rather rebellious. But anyway, I think it's funny that they went with Qui-Gon when there's like so many other choices.
It's because
he's the rebel.
More so, like,
It's, shitty internet meme charts. It's the best I can
Well,
find.
I mean, no, it makes...
Written by Liam Neeson.
If you're going to pick a Jedi who's chaotic,
I'm chaotic
good. I mean, there's Jedi that are chaotic, but they're the ones that end up falling to the dark side or being gray Jedi or whatever. He's the only Jedi that stays good throughout his path that is decidedly, like, hot-headed.
But he definitely went rogue. He went on his own accord, and it's like, well, just look, I can't teach you officially, but watch what I'm doing. He's like, I'm going to teach you through...
Or fucking gambling, right? Like, okay, Watto, let's roll some bones.
Or,
Where the fuck is that in the Jedi handbook?
Cheated.
Yeah, like that's not lawful by any sense. Like cheating at gambling is one of the least lawful things you can do.
I thought that was just a coincidence.
Is he?
He just waved his hand and it happened.
I'm sorry.
Is he cheating with loaded dice though?
Who? Watto?
Not Watto. No, Qui-Gon.
Well, Watto had the
he's the
loaded
fucking
dice.
No, I know.
Force.
I'm saying is Qui-Gon cheating by using the Force when they're loaded dice? I would actually say he's even.
Did they establish that they're loaded?
Well, yeah. His reaction is that they clearly should have landed a certain way, which to me tells me they're loaded dice.
That's fair. I haven't watched that horrific scene in a
Yeah,
while.
I'll trust you.
But
Trust me, the shitty CGI, the way his face.
I'm a Toydarian.
all the emotion shown in his
But
elephant trunk.
he even tried to force persuade him.
yeah, he straight up tried to manipulate his poor little brain.
Before he was like, then I'll bet you. Like he made it his situation to win, and he forced himself. So yeah, he definitely speaks like chaotic good. Like when you talk Yoda, that's a whole different story, right? He's lawful. He's good. I don't think you ever really see him do much of anything else. But yeah, Qui-Gon definitely is chaotic good.
I'd agree. What do you think?
I agree.
Chaotic?
Wolverine, yeah.
Yeah, Wolverine. Mr. Marvel Man. Why don't you start that one off?
What do you want to know about Wolverine?
He's definitely lawful.
He kills the fuck out of people.
Okay, so let me start this off. Much like Mike's last episode statement about not really caring for aliens and whatever, I don't really care about Wolverine.
Because he's the Boba Fett of the Marvel universe.
Kind of. Well, so my whole thing was, it was like Wolverine comes out. He's like this cool little guy who fights the Incredible Hulk. That's where he first shows up in. And everyone, he's got unbreakable bones and he heals. He's pretty cool, right? And I'm like, he's all right. But then he's in everything. Like they put him in comics he shouldn't belong in. They put him in everything. And he's all about being like, I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do isn't very good or whatever. But then he gets his ass whooped for 22 out of 23 pages of a comic book, like constantly. So he's the best at getting his ass whooped. But,
it's like Rocky. It's his special power.
Yeah, he's like Bruce Campbell in the Evil Dead series.
Yeah, but Bruce Campbell has charm.
Fair.
Wolverine just has like a height deficiency.
He
and
says
smokes
bub.
cigar. And bub. Bub I do not really say at all, but sure. But yeah, let's see. Wolverine is Logan. He's from 1800s. That
He's
was
Canadian.
Yeah,
so he
like
nice.
Yeah, well, Logan is
for you.
his name. I think it's like James Howell or something like that is his
Really?
real name. Yep.
Howl? Like
Howl, or Howlett, if I remember correctly. But he was born from the 1800s.
Really?
Yeah, when his X gene went off, he forgot who he was, and then that just stumbled his memory block when he wound up being weaponized by Weapon X, which is a program in the X-Men universe, where they infused his body with adamantium. I'm sure it still is, but they don't use that anymore, so it will probably get retconned eventually to
Probably vibranium, yeah.
Yeah, so
They don't use adamantium anymore?
no, not
Why
since
not?
because 20th Century Fox.
Copyright thing, right?
Yeah, 20th Century Fox has the rights to put X-Men in the movies. Marvel doesn't get any of that.
What
really.
about D&D? Like because it's not adamantium.
Adamantine
It's adamantite.
or adamantine, I think. So anyway,
Yeah,
Marvel,
no, that's like
He was
it's
really
like
cool.
mithril and shit. It's like
Marvel.
yeah.
So Marvel just doesn't use it anymore. So Captain America's shield, for those who didn't know, is
vibranium.
vibranium adamantium mix.
Did they just stop?
Oh, that's right, it was
X-Men
like
or something, though?
Yeah, they just stopped X-Men. They pretty much stopped everything that they don't have movie rights to.
Which is very shrewd, and I tip my hat to them.
But be that as it may, that means there's no more
all
real
for it.
Wolverine. Wolverine has been replaced by X-23, who's the female clone of Wolverine. That's see how comic books get. But yeah, he's a very shrewd, a well-trained fighter who likes to be, he's a loner because he's been trying to figure out who he was for a long time. Traveled the world, does his stuff, and but he's a part of the X-Men, but he's also one that doesn't always follow Professor X's authority. Definitely doesn't really listen to Cyclops. You would even say there's probably a little lack of respect for Cyclops. Especially
They're
when
at
he
odds, right?
Kind of.
well,
Yeah.
there's a certain point where you might not have respect for somebody, but you will still work with somebody, or you believe it. There's like real relationships that are like that. Like Pitt and Teller are that way. The Mythbuster guys describe their relationships that way. It's like we don't talk to each other outside of the show. We just, we're not really friends. But there's a camaraderie that comes with working with each other.
They're
Stuff like that.
acquaintances.
Yeah, so I would say like Wolverine, chaotic good because he typically does good things, but he does it in a way weird about way.
But he kills the shit out of a lot of stuff, so does that maybe push him towards chaotic neutral a little bit?
See, I'm thinking that, and I would say for the most part, if we were doing older Wolverine, yeah, like his solo books and his stuff like that, where he's not really affiliated with the X-Men, I would totally be like chaotic neutral, for sure. But when you put him in like the context of fighting like a bunch of other mutants that like heal up or something like that, he's had many times where he stabbed Magneto, never just outright killed him, which would have probably been a lot easier.
We
to
have
do.
years of comics, right?
You
And I
have-
think it works
yep.
really well actually to kind of push to the more popular aspect. So let's just say Wolverine in the movies, because that's what probably the majority of people know.
So if we do the movies, X1, no, he's chaotic good. X2, chaotic neutral. X3, chaotic good. Because X2, you see him kill a bunch of dudes who break into the, or look like he's killing a bunch
But
of
he's
dudes who
got
break into
probably the highest body count out of anyone in that movie that's not a villain. He probably beats a lot of the villains.
In that
Oh, yeah.
in X2, yes, but
Just
not
because
kill
kill people
anyone.
though doesn't make you evil or neutral.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I think in the context of D&D, it's a little different.
Yeah, no,
okay, so like we killed a bunch of red brands in town. They're bad guys. They tried to kill us. We killed them. But in D&D, especially in where our characters are in D&D, it's kind of like a Wild West sort of a thing. Whereas Wolverine exists in modern day, so you kind of have to judge that with a little bit.
well, that's why I'm giving you like that's why I say X1.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Chaotic good. X2 was he went on off hinge. He was trying to get William Stryker,
Yeah.
and they broke
That
into the
part,
thing.
yeah.
And I mean, he was just that's what I was waiting to see him do in all those movies, was just go off the hook. X3, I wouldn't say he was doing that. He was actually trying to be really noble about it. All the X-Men Days of Future Past. I think maybe he did shank a few people, but who cares about that one? Because you can tell I'm not a big X-Men fan.
Yeah, I'm pretty
either.
indifferent to all of them.
Don't kill me, please. But yeah, but I mean, I'd say overall, his overall arc has taken him to chaotic good. But I'd say there was a good period between the 80s and parts of the 90s where he was just all chaotic.
He's kind of the
neutral
blood
bears.
and guts type guy back in the day, right? Like,
Yeah.
that video game that came out, the Wolverine one. That's what everyone was super stoked about because it's this classic Wolverine where he's just like tearing people apart and there's blood everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of machines in that game. Fun game, actually.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah, it was a fun game to play. But definitely, yeah, that was taking that aspect of him. But I would say more likely than not.
Well, I think that his moral compass is pretty much always good, but the actual actions he does sometimes are more violent. That's why it's kind of interesting character.
I think it's completely valid to say that if you were just to tack on that body count, chaotic neutral, because he's not doing it out of a malicious place. Really, he's just doing it either to protect those he loves, protect himself. And usually they're coming from like evil origins. I could see the argument for chaotic neutral, no problem. But I would say the latter half, I'm giving him chaotic good.
What do you think from movies?
Well, and when you were saying that he does these horrible things to protect himself and protect the ones that he loves, or even just those people that he respects or likes, that puts me more in the chaotic good bent of it. It's less of a selfish thing where it's like he'll put himself on the line to help other people. So yeah, my vote in general would be chaotic good. But
yeah, I think the movies they play up the chaotic aspect of his character like the most. He's always sassing someone or
Controlled
just
by rage.
Yeah, just piecing out when he's they need him or whatever it is.
And I think this is a perfect example of, as we were talking about this, I started thinking, you might be hard pressed to find many chaotic good characters that don't struggle with being chaotic neutral. Like a lot of them either had chaotic neutral origins or half the time are kind of neutral and half the time are good, because it makes a really interesting dynamic character.
Well, that's kind of how he is. He's this reformed bad boy type, right?
Yeah.
Like he's got that dark past that they allude to, but they explore in the second movie and stuff. But for the first movie, all you know is he's got these flashbacks and he's been through some weird shit and he's kind of a dick and he's got this kind of rebellious thing.
And now that I think about it, all the choices I had in my head have that kind of same thing. I would say they're chaotic good, but you could easily make an argument for chaotic neutral.
That's what I was worried about with the character. I thought I was like, oh yeah, but he could be chaotic. So yeah.
Well, let's jump into the characters we thought about.
Okay.
You want to start off?
Yeah, I will start with Rick O'Connell from The Mummy.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty much the prototypical, he's this like bad boy type rebel guy. You first meet him and he's in like an Egyptian jail. And,
Wasn't he part of the French Foreign Legion at some point?
He was, which also hints at like a sordid past.
Yeah.
And then, and then right in that first scene where he meets Evie, he like kisses her out of nowhere, where it's just like, you're not allowed to do that. He obviously doesn't care if they're like beating him with those sticks. He's just like, whatever, I'm about to die, So, I mean, that's a kind of a classic intro to you meet Han Solo and he's got a price on his head and he's offering people black market like deals for transport and stuff. So similar kind of starting point. And
any other alignment to argue against that?
I was thinking chaotic neutral because he's obviously not above pillaging Egyptian tombs and stuff. But
again, he protects his friends. He does his fair share.
That stuff I would look at more through the lens of the setting. Like, as a Western explorer during those times, it was perfectly acceptable to be, kind of a tomb robber, at least as far as I know. But it's also that classic Indiana Jones style character.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I hope no one chose Indiana Jones.
I was tempted, but then I'm like, someone's going to pick that.
Yeah, that's
Not
cheesy.
me.
I have a different one.
So, yeah, sorry if that wasn't a super conversation starter.
I agree
No.
with it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to argue it.
Well, there are points where you could say, I don't know if that's a good character. Like, when he leaves the dude who had him in jail, that Egyptian guy, he's like, what should I do? He's like, wait here, I'll get help. And then he just jumps over the side and leaves him on this ship full of, like, crazy Egyptian ninjas and cowboys, and it's on fire and stuff. Like,
yeah, but that was a bad guy.
he's
or
not a
bad
good guy,
in his point of
Also,
view, at least.
fuck that guy, because if he couldn't jump over the fucking wall on his own, it's his
It was
own
just,
fault.
but there's some similar things like that where you're like, he makes a couple decisions where you're like, but for the most part, I think those are aberrations, or at least borderline.
Yeah, no, he's just making a call.
Yeah, like when he meets Benny, he's like, oh hey, what's up? And like throws him overboard. Like, you could argue very much that that's the chaotic side, or he's decided Benny's evil. But stuff
but
like
he didn't
that.
shoot Benny in the face. Like, he threw him overboard, and maybe Benny can swim. Maybe you can't. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's true.
There's a chance to be fine. Generally, when you're throwing someone in the water in a movie, they're going to be fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Food
Nile,
is-
right? Like, there's some pretty fucking big
Well, that's true.
crocodiles
That's
in the
true.
Nile. But yeah, I don't think that's outside the realm of what a chaotic good character could get away with. Especially if it's someone they have a history of. This guy betrayed me the last time we were together. Okay.
Denial's not just a river in Egypt.
I knew that was coming. Like, I'm sitting there like, who's gonna say it? Probably Mike.
Probably Mike.
Probably.
Just let him
Who's gonna say it? There's only one man who would dare
do
Give
the
me the
Nile
strawberry. What do you got, Brett?
raspberries.
Come on.
Oh,
I got?
Excuse me.
It's cool. He doesn't
point.
like
You gotta be on
he
point.
doesn't like Spaceballs either.
How dare you?
Any other cool shit you
I
hate?
might have fucked up that line, but I actually probably do know almost every word of that movie.
Good for you.
When I was 8, I probably over summer watched it like 40 times.
That's it.
Yeah, you got some
Over
catching up to
summer.
do, bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's just one summer.
Very quotable.
Fine, I've done the same for Blade. Still can't quote that whole movie.
It's because he's got like 3 lines.
I know.
I did the same with White Zombie, and I still can't sing half the lyrics.
Dabba 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 dabba. Yeah.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
What do you have?
So, I am going with Mad Max Rockatansky from the Mad Max films. Now, I know what you're thinking of. Chaotic Neutral is probably where you're going with
I'm
that.
just thinking. Are you talking about like the original?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about it. I'd have to rewatch Thunderdome. But in the first one, he's a family man, and he's, kind of getting revenge for the death
If you're
of
talking
his family.
Thunderdome, I'd say 100% chaotic good. Well, fuck. There's
But
a
then-
strong argument for neutral, but it's tough because it's such a cutthroat world.
Yeah. Well, so here's my argument for it.
All right.
I'm going to talk about Road Warrior
Okay.
Okay.
and Fury Road, my 2 favorite ones, right?
But
Well, let him explain it.
real quick, shouldn't we divide those separately because they're kind of separate characters potentially?
The separate actors. I mean, yeah.
Like
but
it might we the jury's still out on that. Is what I'm saying. Like
Gotcha.
it might be a different guy. It might be a they haven't really stated this is a sequel.
Why don't you
right?
pick one of them? And
No. Let's
No,
do
no,
both.
just do your thing, dude. Do
All right,
your
yeah.
thing.
Do
So
Road Warrior.
Road Warrior So and they both kind of follow the same thing, very Han Solo type thing, where he starts as chaotic neutral, or that's the perceived thing. Now he was a cop before the crash, and he was used to protecting people. He was a family man that wanted to protect his family. That was his thing. But he's been thrown into this crazy, crazy world, and he's been running from these bad guys for a long time. So he's just been looking out for himself, and. So Road Warrior, he gets taken into that. He gets captured by the people refining all the oil, and he's still very much looking out for himself. But then you see moments where he lets the gyro captain free, or he saves the feral kid, and he volunteers to take. Spoiler alert. But he takes the truck to go distract all the bad guys, knowing that's a suicide mission, in the hopes of getting everybody else out of there. He was sacrificing himself for the good of all these people who, quite frankly, treated him like shit, but he knew were good people. So that's my argument for the good. He's clearly chaotic. I don't think there's any argument for that. So I think he's chaotic good. Fury Road is pretty much the same thing. He was very much chaotic neutral in the beginning, just looking out for himself. He's running from both the living and the dead, doing this and that. But then, you know, he helps Furiosa get all the way to that salt sea, and he could have just left. They gave him enough gas, said, go do your thing. It was nice knowing you, shake hands. And he specifically went out to him and said, no, look, here's your way out. I'm going to help you do this. Even though, again, it looked like a suicide mission, and there's a very high chance that he was going to die, and he ended up being kind of a heroic character in that, even though Furiosa kind of stole the show. But so I think his past, at his core, he is good. But being in this very chaotic world, a lot of times that gets shadowed by neutrality. But ultimately, in most of his films, it comes out at the end as a good guy.
Man, that's tough. Because I feel like the way we say, oh, this guy's chaotic good, but he just he had one slip up, but that doesn't change his character. I almost feel like it's the reverse for Max, because his conscience kind of gets him in the end, usually, like with both of those examples. But like with Road Warrior, he goes into that fort not because he's like, oh no, those people are wounded, I need to get them help. It's he shows up and he's like, hey, I brought your friend, give me gas, like we had a deal. And similarly in Fury Road, like I feel like at the end I don't know how much is him trying to save them and how much is this is my only way out if we all work together to do this thing. So I don't know. I mean, I can see kind of both sides of it.
Well, I think when he saw the vision of that child who they never truly explained in the movie, but I believe was supposed to be his daughter, which is odd, as we know. He had a son in the first movie, but
I think it's actually
oh no, that's
it's
right.
just like some people.
That's right. It's a daughter of someone that he's trying to save. That's
Yeah.
But they didn't explain it.
I think the video game explains it or some shit.
I mean, he's haunted.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's haunted by all the things that he's had to do, or maybe even the people he had to give up, you know, to either save himself or he couldn't help. Look at that old dude who showed up. I have no idea who the hell that guy was, but definitely one of Max's victims, one way or the other.
Yeah,
that's a toughie. I've been sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, if we did Thunderdome, sure, helped all those kids at the end, all that good stuff. Chaotic, good, easy. But yeah, we're not counting that because that movie pretty much sucked. Road Warrior, yeah, Thunderdome. No, you give me the first
45 minutes.
Yeah, give me the first 30, 45 minutes of Thunderdome. Good movie. We're on to something. Okay. Give me that latter half. I will leave it. I will get up. I'll go make me a sandwich.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'll go barbecue something. I'll come back. Oh, it's over. What's the next movie on? That's what I will do.
Well, I think also a lot of those the spirits or whatever he was seeing, or the madness, the people Mad Max was seeing in Fury Road were the people that he tried to save but was unable to, and he was running from that guilt of being unable to help these people. And so that, again, is a testament to his goodness. The people he was trying to save and trying to help, but he couldn't. So he was trying to leave that behind. He was running from that. I don't want to save anyone anymore because I'm not that good at it, and they usually end up dead. And then he gets that point where he's like, okay, I'm going to go do my thing. I did my end of the bargain. and those spirits or what he's seeing told him no, like this is you, like you, even if you didn't save those other people, this is you. You help people. That's what you do. Now, as much as you hate doing it, that's you, Max.
So where do you guys stand on him?
I mean, I don't know. I'm really on the fence because a lot of it strikes me as like it's happenstance to him. Like he just happens into these situations, and he's like, I could totally see James's point of saying he's trying to more get himself out of it the quickest and best way that he can, so he's not.
Yeah, like once he
affiliated.
gets him back to the Citadel, he's not like, all right, now I'm going to stick around and make sure everything's run fairly.
Yeah, he's like
just
literally,
all right, fuck you guys, I'm out.
He's booking out. Like I did this. Congrats. Good luck to yourselves.
Yeah.
Live a good life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but like I said, I see both sides of it because it's easy to see that's where they're going because, you know, as filmmakers, they want him to be likable at some level. So you see him being shitty and pointing guns at pregnant chicks and stuff. So at the end, he's got to somehow redeem himself. But it's more in Fury Road than in Road Warrior. In Road Warrior, there's a much stronger case for his conscience kind of took over. Because in Fury Road, it's just a little too convenient how, you know, because I feel like when he's seeing them ride off, he's like, dude, I'm not doing that, dumbasses. It's like you're going to die if you do that. That's the only way he's basically said, like, the only chance we have of getting out of this is to go back. So that one, it's more like pragmatism almost. But Road Warrior, I think it's, you know,
Well,
it's pretty clear cut.
do you guys look at the alignment more based off of a person's actions or their morals?
I think the intent weighs in pretty heavily, right?
Yeah, it can, but I feel like kind of like you guys were saying how there's interesting characters that kind of teeter between the two. I feel like his actions say chaotic neutral, but his moral compass actually says chaotic good because he does want to do the right thing in the end. Like he can't not do it. Like he feels compelled to do it. Visions are not. Like visions are just a fun way to say that's what got him there.
I mean, let's be fair. It'd be a pretty boring movie. He's like, later.
Yeah. He just
It
takes a
took
bike
off.
and goes that way.
And then that's the last shot
true.
you get is just nothing but desert for the next 25 minutes. Be like, this is a ballsy move. George Miller, you son of a bitch. You did it.
But I think that's what they set up with that scene was they gave him enough gas in that motorcycle but he could get away. Like, because they weren't truly after him, they were after Furiosa and the other women. So if he went, you know, north or whatever while they were going east, I forget what direction they were going, that, you know, given the choice, they wouldn't go after him and he could go do his own fucking thing and they would keep going after Furiosa. But
Yeah. Well, how many decision points does he have? Like, how many times does he get to a point where he makes a decision and he chooses to take a path of good or evil, essentially? Like, when he's making those decisions, what would you say he's making?
Probably the biggest one was when he chose to, like, drive the rig, right? Like, when Furiosa caught up with him after the rig cut out. Like, he could have just sat there and been like, fuck you, we're waiting. That was probably the big one for me. Like, that's, I think that might be the biggest.
I mean, either it floats either or. It's like either you think he's selfish and he's doing things for himself, but it looks like he's doing stuff for the betterment of everybody else, or he's generally just saying, all right, let me just do this because either A, Fury Road, I'm trying to atone for my sins, B, you know, again, maybe I'm trying to just do what's right because there has to be some level of decency left here, you know, because he remembers the old world. I'd give him chaotic good troll. Does that count?
yeah.
Well, some of it I wonder if it isn't like, I pick up like a little bit of vindictiveness, right? Like with when he drives the rig in Road Warrior, and when he drives the war rig in Fury Road, it's almost like, well, fuck those guys. They like blew up my car. They, you know, like he had already got some animosity with Humongous by the time he drives the rig because he's already all fucked up, right? And same thing in Fury Road. Like by the time he's deciding, do I wait around for Morton Joe or do I help these guys out? He's thinking like, well, those assholes turned me into a blood bag, so I don't really like them very much. So
Yeah, I'll probably be turned into a blood bag again.
yeah, exactly. Like I've got a painful tattoo on my back right now. So
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
remember Nux was telling him that he could ask for anything he wants.
That's true.
He had captured Furiosa, and he'd have like a free
Yeah,
pass,
that's
and
a
he
good point.
chose
Yeah.
not to, and to go with Furiosa because he realized that. I think it's because he realized that's the right thing to do. Like
Yeah.
these people are trying to get away for good reason.
Right.
All right, let's take our stance.
Fair point.
You said chaotic good troll.
Yeah, it's hard to say, so I'll just go chaotic.
I'll
good.
buy it.
I'll
I
give you
mean, it's.
Good.
I think it's it's a borderline case, but I don't think you can definitively say no. He's not chaotic neutral or chaotic good. A little Freudian slip there.
Okay. What do you think?
I think chaotic good. Ultimately, but again, kind of chaotic control.
Well, also, this is another point that I think applies especially to this character.
Never gonna move on.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the environment plays a big part in that
Oh,
because
yeah, sure.
you have to, same thing with like the, 30s, 40s kind of globetrotting pulp thing. You've got to take the fact that this is a post-apocalyptic wasteland in which it's like dog eat dog. There's
Yeah.
no good left. It's
Yeah.
just.
It doesn't take a whole lot to be considered good.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's way above the bar if
Yeah.
he just doesn't kill some dude over.
Just
his
handing
ignorance.
someone
Ooh, he didn't shoot me.
a cup of water and you're like a saint.
Yeah, I mean, it's like in DayZ, basically. There's like friendly. So
I'm just gonna say chaotic good.
Fair enough.
Is that what
you
you
sound
believe?
super excited about this. Tell me more.
He doesn't like Mad Max either.
Yeah,
What's Mad Max?
yeah. Mad Max.
Oh, that's
versus
this other
Aliens.
cool thing you hate. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's like Spaceballs.
Oh, is this the guy that did Happy Feet?
Same director, yes.
All right, so moving on.
John, what do you got? I do think chaotic
Babe
good.
is chaotic good. By the way.
Shit, that
Does not play by the rules.
no, Babe is chaotic evil.
Babe is a loose cannon.
Babe lost in the city or whatever that shit. That was a fucking
Alright.
pig roaming the streets.
Yeah, dogs and cats living together. Anarchy.
Up is down, left is right, and everything is twirling.
George
twirling.
Miller loves his chaotic,
Yeah.
chaotic evil characters.
He loves chaotic bacon.
Chaotic bacon.
So for a minute I thought Han Solo, and I was like, nah, that's too easy. And we already kind of used him already. And then I was like, no. I'm doing this one.
Uh-oh. Fucking Batman, are you serious?
Yep, Batman. Chaotic good.
Chaotic,
I agree.
Chaotic weak
Yeah, I
sauce.
agree. He falls in every alignment.
It depends on which version you use, but I'm just
Yeah,
I
going-
was thinking Frank Miller's.
Actually, yeah. Why don't you
The
pick
goddamn
which
Batman.
version you're picking? Because that does kind of
Well,
play into it.
Yeah, so I'm not going to pick the 60s
West?
Adam West. It's like
Some days you just can't get rid of the bomb.
He's lawful. He's lawful good.
He wouldn't
lawful
even throw
good.
the bomb at the ducks.
Dust. Yeah, he's like, Robin, what am I going to do? And he just sucks the bomb. No, not doing that. Yeah, I'm torn between Dark Knight Batman, which is definitely chaotic. I would almost argue chaotic neutral to chaotic good. And then kind of current iteration of Batman that we have, which is an amalgam of Dark Knight. So you have to think
Like
that
the
Dark
Frank Miller Dark Knight.
yeah, so pretty much like a couple people are the genesis of that. Neil Adams and Dennis O'Neil.
Hey, who was the guy that did the goddamn Batman?
That is Frank Miller, but that's All-Star Batman.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's when Frank Miller went on the Happy Sauce or whatever and started writing his own shit. But pretty much, so you had a few people in the late 70s, early 80s who started shaping what Batman was, and then Frank Miller came out and did Dark Knight Returns. And that's pretty much the Batman we have now, right? Like just this all omnipotent, knowing character who can beat everybody, who, still follows his own, he follows the laws to a degree, but he himself does not.
Obnoxiously so.
Hey,
And just so, in case anyone doesn't know, there's a difference between when we're saying the Dark Knight for the Nolan films and the Dark Knight comic by Frank Miller.
yeah, I'll say Dark Knight
From
Returns.
of the identical name.
Yeah, it's pretty much that's hey man, if I was gonna name a Batman movie, you better believe I'd call it Dark Knight. It's a easy
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Phoenix Dark Dirt.
Knight. It was like so dark.
So dark. Wolf
You just
rides
made
on
me
the-
think of who I'm gonna change.
Well,
my
Mr.
chaotic
Furious,
to.
good luck. I hope it is. He's so
That's a
I'm
good
going
choice.
Batman. He follows rules to a degree, but he's not afraid to break the law to get the law done right or done in the way that he sees fit. He's also not afraid to hurt people. It's not like he won't kill you, but he'll break your legs.
He might accidentally kill you with all his fucking kung fu flips.
It depends. If you're Batman v Superman, you're going to kill a lot of people.
I didn't watch that.
Batman kills everybody in that movie. That's what that should have been called. But see, he agrees. Mm-hmm. But pretty much as like he's not law. I don't want to say he's lawful
Murder
because
hobo Batman.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's I'm the goddamn Batman is like the murder hobo because I'm the goddamn Batman. Listen, you're a punk, and he's shoving Robin out the way. It's so weird. I was like, I can't read this. It took forever to come out. Anyway, I'm giving him chaotic good. I don't see him doing anything else.
I think the only point of contention could be, and I don't know Batman well enough.
I do.
But how he won't kill people. I get it's a personal code, but it's not something he ever really deviates from.
No.
So that is the only sticking point I could see, just because it's the only linchpin of that argument, but it's a pretty strong one, right? Like,
I mean, well, how cool is it for a guy that dresses up as a bat who'll see you committing a crime and then break your fucking leg over committing a crime? It's not like he just twirls you with cable.
He might.
Hey, if you're a pickpocket,
That's a standard capture.
Yeah, but if he's sitting there fighting a bunch of dudes, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of guys laid out going to ICU because of him.
That's what I don't get. Why would any thugs try and beat up Batman at this point? Like,
Because
after a few years.
No, most of them don't see him coming. That's the whole thing. Remember, he's not referred to as Batman. He's referred to as the Batman. Because in a lot of senses in the DC universe, he's a myth. People actually only see his silhouette as he's whooping people's ass.
Did you hear that myth? My buddy just got his ass whipped by him.
Yeah, it was a real dude. He fucked us up. He threw this Razorang at us. And I mean, that's the thing, he's throwing fucking batarangs at people. Sometimes they get stuck in them. That's a
unbelievable thing.
Also, in this age of I guess the bat signal's always from the top of the
GCPD.
Yeah, okay, so.
I mean, another argument could be made of, let's take another chaotic good character that does kill people. Rick, what's his last name again? Rick O'Neill?
O'Connell.
O'Connell?
Come on.
I honestly haven't watched the movie in
Jerry
a long
O'Connell.
time.
You should, it's amazing.
Oh, it's cool, yeah. But yeah, he'll kill people, sure. But there's also, I'm sure, a long laundry list of other things he won't do. He probably won't have sex with a sheep or, do something really...
I don't feel like that makes him lawful.
Yeah, but...
anyone who doesn't bang sheep is no lawful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's... Yeah, that happens to be
Still
a law
chaotic.
that's in place. I'm just throwing that out there that, I mean, that's...
No, I get that
there's a law
it's
against
a personal
that, and he won't do it.
thing.
So does that make him following the law? I think he's following the law because... his personal code of not having sex with sheep happens to coincide with the laws that are in place.
Yeah.
So Batman's personal code of not killing people doesn't have to do with society's laws. It's his personal code of not killing.
Yeah, I go from the Batman Year One origins, also written by Frank Miller, where it's pretty much he's fighting a dude, he kicks him off a thing, and in a split second he says, "No, I don't kill," and he made that decision right there. He's like, "That's not."
I mean, I get it. I'm just saying that's the only real obstruction towards a chaotic character. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he's flying around in a bat suit, beating people up at night, so you can't say he's lawful. I mean, that's just it's the same thing as we talked about with Daredevil.
I would say
actually,
He's chaotic.
Yeah. So that's who I'm going with.
Although, actually, that's almost a good segue into my Daredevil Batman theory.
Oh, I know this theory. You told me this before.
I've told John this. I don't know if
probably
Let's hear the quick version. Let's hear it.
DC and Marvel should trade. They fucked up because Batman is more, or Daredevil's more of a
Daredevil's
Batman.
a shitty character?
No, because Daredevil is more like a Batman than Batman is, and Batman's more of a Daredevil than Daredevil is.
Yeah.
Think about it.
That's
Daredevil
true.
has fucking sonar. He can see in the dark like a bat, and he fucking jumps
blind
around.
as a bat.
He's literally, he's like Batman. Batman doesn't have sonar. He doesn't have any bat-like qualities. But he has all these crazy gadgets, and he's like fucking X Games, dude, and he's got all these extreme grappling hooks. He's like a Daredevil.
Yeah.
They should fucking switch names.
They shouldn't switch. They should just straight up make his suit black and fucking straight up give him gadgets and just revamp him and make them devil shaped instead of bat shaped. He's already got he's got little tiny fucking ears already.
It's a matter of inches, really.
I'm just saying they should trade.
They
should
meet
swap.
up. He's like, so
he's like,
small ears,
yeah,
bro.
you should approach him and be like, so, how about a trade?
no, it would never happen. It's the only fucking good character they got.
I'm just saying,
Batman
it
looks at
fits
Daredevil,
better.
That was my costume
It
idea.
fits better. It makes
true.
Daredevil cooler because he becomes Batman.
I could see Marvel totally just fucking revamping Daredevil though.
Well, you almost have to. No, actually, this show is awesome, so I shouldn't talk shit. But it's just, I always thought that was funny because I was thinking about it. I'm like,
I like Daredevil. I do. I like this show a lot, but I gotta say, there's a lot of cooler elements around Daredevil than actually just Daredevil himself.
Like the Punisher.
well,
Like
I mean,
the Punisher. But we're
That's
getting a
a little-
Punisher series.
literally
how much
the
cooler would
only
Daredevil
thing
be
I'm
if he had a cape that
watching
could help him glide like Batman? And he didn't just have 2 sticks.
Better than a billy club that has a hook rope in it
See?
somehow.
Yeah.
Like, and then if Batman was just like Daredevil and that's his thing, is he's got this crazy like swooping.
That'd be cool. You mean he was sitting there and he's like, I have to think of something to scare these criminals because they're superstitious and cowardly lot. Then a fucking demon smashes through his front window.
exactly.
And he's like, from this day forth, I will be Daredevil.
Or he's like on a bad trip and he sees Satan and
Oh, he's doing
Daredevil.
opiates in that den.
Yeah.
Like he found Alfred's stash, and he's all like,
Now,
Exactly, just like in Archer.
you know, if they did those like crossover mashup type things like they used to back in the day, I could see an awesome comic of like Batman getting his ass beaten out of it for a while, like a concussion or some shit, and having Daredevil take up the mantle for him, like in running Gotham.
He's like, I found you with sonar.
Yeah.
You'll take
Found
the
you.
suit.
No, that could be really rad.
That'd be kinda
Actually,
neat.
just
And then you
actually
see
put
Batman
on the
with
Batman
a-
suit. Yeah,
Cowl with no eyes.
Jesus
Holy shit.
Mothra. You
real
know?
Mothras.
And then everyone's like, that's the Batman.
Yeah.
That other guy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
This guy fights like a ninja. Wait, they were both trained by ninjas.
Yeah.
yeah.
Lots of ninjas
They-
in Bruce
they-
Wayne stage.
You're onto something there.
Yeah, it's not bad.
saying.
You're wrong.
Batman,
but-
the one you chose, I would 100% agree is chaotic good. What do you think?
I
Yeah.
agree.
All right, what's yours?
Well, I had one, and then John's sparked me.
I'm looking shit up.
No, I'm not looking
What's
shit
it like
up.
to be in good hands? Man, it's like
Fucking ads.
He's all like, I got this prepped and primed. Now I'm gonna do this.
I need YouTube Red going on.
Either you can't
And I know it's a full
Is it one of those long ones?
Allstate.
Fuck you, Allstate.
You're not doing Darkwing Duck.
He already said Batman, dude.
It's not Batman.
Might as well be.
Well, Darkwing Duck.
Oh, you fucked up.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
I thought you were
I'll
going to say
edit it out,
this.
don't worry.
All right.
Jesus.
Actually, I'll choose what I was gonna choose originally. Captain Planet.
You.
No,
What the fuck?
no, he's literally built with heart.
Yeah, no.
No. He does not follow laws. He does what's right for the planet and works outside of laws.
But he acts within the laws of nature. Oh.
I'd say neutral good.
Yeah, I give you neutral good, but I want to hear this for chaotic.
Yeah,
good.
let's hear it.
That's
Are you going Don Cheadle?
I just want
You're all trees.
Yeah,
I fucking hate Captain
That's
Planet so
chaotic
much.
evil right there.
How'd you manage to
no.
pick the lamest superhero in the history
Honestly,
of
I was.
I would
sitting
rather
here,
you
I was
argue
sitting here
Darkwing
listening
Duck.
to you.
Yeah, can we
I
go
was
back
just
to
trying
Darkwing
to
Duck?
think of the most obscure person that I could.
It's not obscure, it's just awful.
A real pick of mine would be like Iron Man. I'd pick Iron Man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
chaotic good. I agree.
I agree.
He'll go
I'm
outside
trying to
of the
think
law.
of it.
His moral compass is to do what's right. He literally puts the Iron Man suit on to make a difference, and he doesn't follow the law for that. And I
And
mean,
he
you
used
can
to be
say
neutral
he
or
goes
evil.
into like civil war and that he's like doing things for the government, but he's still going to choose to do what he wants to do based on what he thinks is right.
I think he's chaotic insofar as the rules have never really applied to him because he grew up with such
Such
fuck. He grew up with lots of fuck.
Did that too.
Rich
Yeah,
bitch.
probably.
But I mean, he grew up with such
Still has
wealth.
lots of fuck.
Yeah, I mean, he grew up with such wealth that it's not like he had to worry about getting pulled over.
He had
It's like-
he had affluenza.
he did have affluenza. I mean, you see him like flying down the interstate in his car. Like he does not care about the speed limit. He gets pulled over. He's like, "Oh no, a speeding ticket." You know, it's not a big deal to Tony Stark. So yeah, I could see that. The only argument I would see for a lawful nature, or I mean, you could make an argument for a neutral nature, is because he's equally antagonistic to law and chaos a little bit. He doesn't seem to like the evildoers and all that. But lawful, I could say, because as a businessman, he definitely works within the system.
He works around the system.
No, I mean, he's a government contractor that's like literally using the system. But I mean, I agree, as a person, he's
Yeah.
not very lawful at all. I mean,
Yeah,
you
bring
can't
up
even
a-
make a flight,
I
dude.
think you bring up a good point, kind of with neutral good.
Yeah,
Well,
that's where I would
Because
most likely.
but he
stand.
doesn't work for the government. He sells weapons to the government.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he seems equally not ambivalent, but he seems ready to do the lawful or chaotic.
He's
thing
also
as it
selling weapons of mass destruction for killing, and he knows what his weapons do for his government because he believes that's right.
That's what I'm saying,
I don't know
like
if I'd say that makes him lawful, though.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Weapons
Like the
manufacturer.
neutral. Overall, he's doing what he thinks is right, but I think whether or not that's a lawful or a chaotic thing, he's equally ambivalent about. He's doing whichever one suits him. So I feel like that almost puts him in a neutral good. But
Yeah.
I kind of
Neutral
see, because
good.
you when you said that, I was like, chaotic. It seems for the guy that he is, chaotic isn't really in his nature. If anything, he's more forward thinking than most. Right? He's like years ahead.
It's
of
weird,
people,
yeah.
not like minutes and hours. I mean, he's thinking things so far down the line that we can't even fathom it.
Yeah.
it's almost.
I mean, that's the whole genesis of Civil War, the comic books anyway, was because he saw this was going to happen, and so his way of combating it was just getting ahead of it first, and registration before.
Yeah.
But at
it
the same
was
time, like in his
forced.
personal life, I could see that's probably where I see the most evidence of a chaotic nature,
Sure.
where his personal life's a wreck. He can't even make a plane flight. He keeps people waiting for 2 hours or whatever it is. Not even there to collect awards. He's off gambling when he should be doing that stuff. So it does point to this kind of like mercurial personality.
Yeah.
But then you see also his actions where he's on, that said, he's not on the ball, right? Like he's just,
No, it's like-
they hand him, they come to him with the Avengers thing and he already knows about it, stuff like that. So
It's more the nature of I think what excites him, not necessarily chaos, right? Like award, whatever. I don't care about this, but then having to build a suit, originally to save his life effectively, and then weaponizing it because that was the only thing that he knew how to do. Or that was the mindset he was in, and then being like, hey, I gotta stop all this weapon shit because all these guys are blown up. Going more off the movie one than we are off the original origins.
Again, I think the movie reference is best for just saying we're talking about Iron Man. From the
Sure. I grew up literally like reading Iron Man comics. Like that's what taught me how to read.
Sure.
Not very well, so I'm pretty well versed in Iron Man and Iron Man lore. And that's why when you said neutral good, it got me thinking. I was like, yeah, I see that more than I see chaos, because he's not. He's never operated that way. Like things in his life could have done it, but I don't see it. Just more like, okay, this is where I'm at right now. Like his whole demon in the bottle, getting being a booze hound and stuff was just.
Well, with Civil War, I mean, he's going the absolute lawful way, right?
He's doing it to get at the forefront, right? To get ahead of it before it gets worse.
Well, he thinks it's the right thing to do, and it's the lawful way. He's saying, we've been operating outside of the law, and that's not right. So,
I think he would still act outside of the law if he needed to, though.
well, yeah, he did.
He did, but then he also followed his own. Okay, I'm not going to spoil any movies for anybody or whatever, but he went ahead and did his own thing afterwards as well, right? But it's not out of, to me, it's neutral. A lot of times mean to me it's kind of like the ebb and flow.
Yep.
And he was just like, okay, you did this, I'm
Well, I
going
think
over
that's
here.
also a good example of one of those exception moments where something happens that's outside the norm of circumstances, where someone strays outside of their alignment, but for good reason, right?
Yeah.
Without changing their overall alignment, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. It's a tough, better one. Better.
I'm gonna go necrotic. Necrotic good.
All right, sounds good to me.
Necrotic good.
It's it actually really is a tough one because in listening to you guys describe why I can agree and lean towards the neutral, but I still feel chaotic good for some reason. So I'm on the fence. I'm feeling both of them.
Yeah, I mean, his personality is definitely, I'm going to do what I want right now. So
Yeah.
I could see that. You know, it's definitely, I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, but then I keep thinking of like, only because he knows what's next. You know, I mean, they refer to him as a futurist, for heaven's sakes, you know.
Well, and that's what kind of makes me think of the neutral thing, because he does both in a bit of an opportunistic fashion, right? Like, but it's overall good. Like, he's not, like with Civil War, he's not going for registration because he thinks it's the lawful thing to do and it's the law, so you should do it. He thinks it's the good thing to do. Whereas when he goes out and blows up those missiles without consulting the military, he does that because it's the good thing to do, not necessarily because it's against the law or for it. So that kind of leads me to believe the neutral.
Even as far as the movies go, he leaves the terrorists in their hands. He doesn't try to take them captive or anything. He kills a bunch of them,
Yeah, I know.
leaves them with them, says he's yours. Do what you want.
Well, mob justice never hurt anyone.
Yeah, so I'm just saying it's a little chaotic.
I'm going to stick with chaotic good myself,
Sure.
but I'm not steeped in all the lore, and I actually
just
haven't
watched the
seen
movies.
Civil
No.
War yet.
What the fuck,
I
Brett?
know, right? Well,
I'm just giving it. You mentioned I was like chaotic good. I was leaning there, but then when he said neutral, I sat
went
there
and
and was
fucked it
like,
up.
he
No,
was
it-
like,
it
I was
is
like,
good.
you bring up a
It's a
very
good point.
You bring up a better point than I think I would have even thought about it, because it's like, well, he's not lawful. I was like, but I don't feel he's chaotic either, because I feel like
there was something.
neutral works because he just he just goes with the flow.
I feel like he goes more his way. It's not really like, I don't think he's teetering around the law. It's more like he just goes his way.
Which is
That-
good, though.
which fluctuates
Which is
on
good,
different
which is-
sides.
Which is good,
is
but
kinda that neutral thing, I think.
but see, that's why I keep going back to neutral, because I don't think you have to be necessarily chaotic to
Oh no,
go with-
I'm agreeing with you actually. I'm saying I think he goes his own way, and then that way teeters him back and forth throughout this lawful nature and chaotic nature. And I mean, I guess kind of got to say neutral at that point, because he's always fluctuating.
it's an interesting one. I'll be curious to hear what other people have to
true neutral.
I'll put a Twitter
who's
one out there.
another-
I want to put a vote out and see what people.
say. Yeah,
Who's another Avenger that we can say is definitively chaotic good? Because I'm curious to see what his interaction with that character is like.
Hawkeye.
No,
Like, I feel like
it's lawful good.
It depends on which Hawkeye. Hawkeye was originally a criminal.
Let's follow the movie.
Hulk
Let's follow the
and
movie.
Hulk, or
Just
is he
because
still too
I'm just
that's-
thinking I feel like he would be dismissive and or mocking towards that character. And same with Lawful Good. We know how he deals with Captain America. Like, you fucking
Ant-Man,
can't stand that guy. Ant-Man?
Depends which Ant-Man.
one from the
No,
movie.
I'm thinking the original
Faith.
Avengers movie.
Yeah, but I mean,
No, I think he's chaotic good. I would say
yeah.
for
I was, well, depending which one you're talking about. If you're talking
sure. Movie.
Yeah,
I just watched
Pym,
it. Chaotic neutral. Or good.
You like, CN for sure.
Sorry. I'm just used to saying chaotic neutral.
Yeah,
I've said
Black
it for most of
Panther?
my
All
life.
about that life.
No, I think he's lawful.
yeah.
He's like very steeped in his
yeah?
code.
Black Widow. I'd say Black Widow.
She kind
I
of
don't
teeters
know
between
enough.
chaotic and lawful, I think.
I say she taters between good and neutral.
Yeah, I would say good neutral. I would not say
don't-
lawful.
I don't
I
know.
just think she was just
She's working for the government and
but
following orders.
because it was
She's
almost
like a super ninja spy assassin.
and it was only
Yeah.
because of happenstance, not
I
necessarily.
know, but I mean, from
All right, maybe this is
Where
open
she-
to bad can of worms.
Yeah. I'm just saying where she is and like what she's doing. She's essentially working for the government as an agent and doing what they say.
Yeah. I was just trying to inform our views on Tony Stark by
How he treats
How
the
he,
other.
he interacts with them.
actually. I'm gonna spoil my Halloween costume for you guys.
Okay.
That was General Kale.
Yeah, he's gonna just have a giant
He's gonna
bag
be
of-
James. Gonna be Hawkeye.
Yeah, dude, he's got a fucking bow and arrow and shit.
Black Widow.
Oh man, him in that outfit. Oh,
So I saw this online and I was like, dude, I have to be Tony Stark for Halloween. Because now,
Oh, LEDs and all that.
yeah. So yeah, that's not what I was excited about,
You
but I
can
am.
put it right in between your critties.
You haven't already done that, have you?
You're right.
They grab it from you.
pretties. Ugh.
Yeah, that's just gross.
I don't know.
That's
Like,
awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, you messed me up there.
Yeah, let's
with your mind.
let's close that door.
I'm gonna say neutral
That's
good.
awesome.
That's me.
This is very
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
I agree.
like it.
And
So,
you
yeah.
guys are going chaotic good.
Yeah, I'll stick with chaotic.
All right, sounds
I'm
good.
gonna actually say chaotic and neutral good, somewhere in between.
I say lawful evil.
Works for
That
me.
argument could be made,
Yeah.
especially in the first episode.
Yeah.
The way he talks
Alright,
about the
so-
atom bomb.
So we finished alignment breakdowns. How about that?
Yay!
And we came to a clear resolution on all of them.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Well, I think
Do we
that.
want to talk about the rest of the subject?
Well, I think this
To wrap
kind
it up?
of this kind of leads into it. The fact is, alignments are a fickle beast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
correct.
speaking about alignments as a whole and their use in the game, I think if anything that we've learned from these discussions is that they're open to quite a degree of interpretation. So in that respect, it's almost like I feel like they should be treated like the Pirates Code,
Yeah.
where it's just kind of guidelines, like just because you write
guidelines and actual rules.
yeah, and they should also, and as we've seen from a lot of characters, they should be mutable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, characters change. So just because you write chaotic good on your character sheet, don't let that stop you from playing your character how you feel it should be played in a certain situation, especially given weird circumstances. You know, like if you know, something pertinent to your character background happens or whatever that puts your character in a different state of mind than they would normally be in, you know, you can kind of stray a little bit, or if you feel like it's time to change your alignment, you know, you can do that too. So I think as long as you have a good idea of who your character is, I wouldn't feel shackled by alignment too much. That said, don't just go crazy and be whatever, but you know, picking whichever one you feel is closest and then going from there is the best way to go. I mean, if some of the more famous D&D based novels, like in Dragonlance, I mean, Raistlin is probably the most popular character in that whole series, and he runs the gamut from, like, I think he starts off probably
He's the Walter White of
no, but he definitely goes on a journey from like
Right.
he definitely goes on a journey
Just
from
do
like
that every
neutral
week.
to evil. Like he starts out as that like dick character who just nobody likes, but he's powerful, so they keep him around, and then he full on turns into like, no, I'm gonna become an evil god. Enjoy that shit. So, you know,
Yeah, I mean, just use it. Alignments are there for a reason. I think they're actually very helpful in trying to create a character and give you a baseline, as long as you follow either interpretation of the book, your own interpretation of what that means, or, you know, something in between. The alignment charts that we're, you know, half of these ones that we're pulling them on, we're all sitting here arguing about them and discussing them because we all have our own moral compasses and clues, and, you know, we all have our different opinions, and everyone will. But, you know, I think it's like probably one of the coolest aspects of in a role playing game. Is like, well, what do you do?
I mean, there's because it's like a codified set of morality, right? Like you're, you know, in most things, it's especially literary works, it's open to interpretation, and there are gray areas, and there's no framework like that. In D&D, you've got it very clear. This is good, this is neutral, and this is evil. And while characters' actions are open to interpretation, at the end of the day, they have that alignment. And that also ties into the fact that it's a game, right? Like, there are mechanics based on this stuff. So, if someone wants to zap you with a fucking wand that does +5 against good creatures, or evil or neutral or whatever, you might come to regret some of those open-ended alignment decisions you made. It's like, I did chaotic neutral because I want to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, anti-chaos zapping
Like the
ray.
lion paladin that did extra
Lion
damage against
paladin,
chaotic characters. Was that it?
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm gonna look that article up. That reminded me.
Speaking of which, I thought this was before we had Matt Colville on our show. I was watching a lot of his stuff, and he had mentioned something that I think kind of fit my view of alignment pretty well as well. He said that alignment should be descriptive and not prescriptive. Think so when you're creating a character, think of how your character would act in most situations or what type of character they are, and then after you have that set in your brain, then be like, okay, so what kind of alignment is that? Oh, that's, I guess, more of a chaotic good character, and put that stamp on it afterwards. I would say don't put, okay, I'm going to make a chaotic good character and then start building your stuff off of that. Sure. That being said, I personally, when I'm running games or when I'm creating characters, I don't put much weight on those two words. This is my alignment, and as we've seen, everything is up for interpretation. I just kind of think of what has my character been through, how do they react in general situations. And there's probably an alignment that'll mostly codify. I'm stealing your word. What they're like, but there's always going to be gray area.
Yeah,
room for change.
That's kind of one thing. Like every now and then, I would remind people or ask what their alignment is, because sometimes it's when someone's just off the reservation or whatever, or just acting out of character. You want to give that nudge, like, is this really what you're going to do? Like, is this something you're purposefully choosing to grow your character, or, but you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you're like trying to tell someone how to play their character. So that's a bit of a sticky.
No, well, that's why I always, a lot of times in games where someone will be like, what's your alignment, or mention it. And people bring it up and they're like, well, I don't. It's like, look, you do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your alignment is. It's just, you should try to keep that in mind as far as what your character is and what you've done in the past that might facilitate. It might be need where you have to kill this guy versus, want and desire to kill this guy.
Sure.
But if someone's like, hey man, this guy's got an arrow sticking out of his eye hole, I'm gonna go ahead and kick the arrow into his face.
Jesus.
But I don't worry, I'm lawful.
Yeah.
I'm lawful good, so don't worry. It's like, no, you wouldn't. Like, you would try to help. Maybe
really.
try to help take the arrow out.
Yeah, I think that at that point it goes to play the character you want to play, how you want to play them, and then if the DM decides you need an alignment change, oh no, you're still playing the character in a way that is fun for you. So
Yeah, I want to put one little opinion out there, and then I want to kind of wrap up our whole opinion of alignment. And that's my opinion is I don't think alignment's necessary, and I don't really care about it. I don't think about it whatsoever when I'm making a character. And just like when we talk about these characters that exist and we're dissecting what alignment they are, sure, I could figure out what my guy is, but I certainly don't care about it at all.
yeah, I mean,
I play what I want to play.
You can. I mean, we went without alignment for a long time at Savage Worlds. I agree. It's pretty much unnecessary. In D&D, it's a little trickier since it's tied to actual game mechanics, but
Well, I do think there is something to be said about when you're making a character, and if you're at least taking it into consideration, you could say, oh, well, that means maybe my character will act this way or be this way. That's fine, but I mean, that's if you want to do that. I personally don't want to do that.
No, one of my chief complaints about D&D is alignment. I think for as stimulating a discussion topic as it is, as you can see, we can go on for hours discussing the possibilities of one character and where they lie. It's a pretty old system that hasn't really changed at all in a very long time. I mean, what we're discussing is essentially the same shit that was in like 2nd edition when I started as a kid. So, just keep that in mind.
Well, you'll end up doing it regardless.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Everyone is self-governing. whether it's Savage Worlds or Heroes Unlimited, which had an alignment
Yeah,
system
they had
in it.
the aberrant and
Scrupulous and whatever,
Unscrupulous, yeah.
and that was very clear cut. It was like, you will not cut people, you will not
Yeah.
do this,
Yeah.
you know, you will, but you'll,
without scruples.
yeah, but you will do it regardless.
Yeah.
See, even as Randon, you might not care about what your alignment is, and it has to be on the sheet, but you will govern yourself and you will do things because it's based on more of your personal moral.
Oh yeah, his
understanding.
character.
But I
will
think
be
it goes to my character,
following
yeah.
what he-
And sure, the
what he
character
feels
follows
agreeing
too.
to. But
Yeah, that's what. So it's kind of like it's weird
he
thing.
won't necessarily put a label on it.
Yeah, exactly. But it will fall
Like
within the suit.
lawful, like paladin, lawful paladin, right? Like, I mean, maybe in my opinion, like if I just made a paladin, I'm like, yeah, he's super about the law. He follows the law. Like, sure, that's probably labeled lawful good, but I don't really care about the alignment thing.
Yeah, I just think it's so antiquated and it's so open to interpretation, like the lawful thing. We've had so many discussions about personal code versus the letter of the law versus the law of the gods and all this stuff. I feel like something, and they're kind of halfway to it with backgrounds, because you've got those, you've got your bonds and your personality traits and stuff. And I was actually going to say I'd prefer something maybe not so clunky or as involved as what R. Telsorian did, but Cyberpunk and Mechton and all those games had a very involved, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I think some of the older Palladium stuff, maybe like Robotech, had some sort of life path sort of a thing where you roll. I don't think maybe not Palladium, but anyways, you roll and you go through like, oh, these events in my character's life
Oh yeah,
happened, and then they have this code. So because backgrounds sort of have that. So because I feel like for a character like Randon, for example, it's much better to say, just as part of his character notes, takes no prisoners, underline, than he's lawful. He has a code that he never, and just sum it up with 2 words. I don't think that I think we've moved a little bit beyond like just those rigid definitions and to somewhere where you can say, okay, cool. Now here's my little character background or personality paragraph. I've, rolled all this stuff where I've decided like has a background of this, hot tempered, takes no prisoners, hates orcs. And then the rest you start discovering as you roleplay that character or as you think about it more, and you just start adding more notes. And that's, I feel like, really what makes up a character, because very rarely am I like, oh, my character would do this. Oh, wait, but fuck, I'm chaotic good. It's not.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
And my thing for Randon was that it's not just no prisoners, like it's a personal code type thing, right? It's a soldier background I gave him that on the battlefield specifically, in war, when fighting monsters, creatures, whoever, he doesn't leave people alive on the battlefield. Doesn't mean that outside of that, like if we captured someone, he wouldn't interrogate them or take prisoners. He's not dumb. He's not just the dumbest, dullest barbarian ever, but that a whole alignment label, like you said, has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I've been thinking, actually for a little while, that it would be nice if, when creating a character, instead of necessarily an alignment, you choose like 3 words to describe your character's personality, so people know, how they are, and perhaps each one of those could fall within some very broad categories. So you could have like an honorable, selfish, something or other. I don't have a third one, but it's like, okay, so you get they have some code of honor, whether they're good or evil, that doesn't matter, but they have a code of honor, and they're selfish. So they have honor, but they're still thinking about themselves. Again, not putting any moral thing on it. It's just they're more thinking of themselves. And you could even, I'm sure they have things like this out there where it's, drop down menus where it's like, if faced with a bandit, would you leave them alive or kill them? And that type of thing.
Ultima style.
Yeah. Or Elder Scrolls style, they would do that too. They had a little quiz at the beginning to figure out your person. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a fun thing to get an idea of what type of character you are.
That actually reminds me of, I think it was Matt Colville's alignment video where he discussed, because, we're talking about something that's super ancient, fucking codified thing of alignment. and the fact that it was originally just written down and people had to figure out what it meant. And then I think it was Matt who talked about when they actually went back and asked Gary Gygax, or they basically, it sounded like he originally meant the alignments to be almost like a religion or your set of beliefs. And in that context, it kind of makes sense, right? If you're lawful good, doesn't necessarily mean that this is always how you act. It's more like, okay, so if I'm Catholic, I've got certain values that I've been raised to uphold. Doesn't mean I'm always going to go to church on Sunday, and I'm going to definitely break the rules sometimes, but that's what I aspire to, or whatever it is. Sure. And in that context, I think the alignments kind of make sense, but I feel like once you start introducing specific gods and things like that, you could almost just do away with alignment and say, okay, cool, what god do you worship? And that informs that kind of so you almost basically pick your deity. Okay, cool, your deity's chaotic neutral, so those are your guiding principles, but you behave how you behave. So
Well, we need to wrap it up so we don't go too long.
Yeah, it's good.
But I want us to all wrap up alignment in one of our own statements. And a quick statement. It's going to be tough, James. Tough. But let me give an example.
About droning on for a while.
Yeah. I'm going to say, don't worry about alignment. Build the character you envision. That's my statement. What do you think? Alignment?
My statement is, I'm chaotic good.
Okay. John?
Use alignments because they'll help you build your character better.
Okay. James?
I would say, just play the character you want to play and let that inform your alignment, and just don't be afraid to change your alignment if you need to.
All right. Well, that concludes alignment breakdowns.
Yay!
Okay, let's check out the timer. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. We'll be back next week. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Because, I mean, we're a YouTube channel now.
It's true. We
Or
do
listening.
videos.
Or listening on SoundCloud as well and iTunes. Thanks for joining us. This has been the Orc-Chop Express. You can find John on Twitter at... What is
Professor
it?
John Rex.
You can find Brett there at what?
At Ovalt the Great.
You can find me there at what? At Podmaster Mike. And you can find James there at what?
J-Mail Ninja.
Or you can find the Orc-Chop Express at Orc-Chop Express. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and give us a review on iTunes if you could. A good one, preferably. I really don't want to see a bad one.
Please no shitty ones.
Yeah.
If you made it this far in the video, I'm hoping you're giving us a good review.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
I watched this because I hate these guys.
I
Yeah.
hate that fat
People do
asshole.
that. There's a whole subreddit.
No,
that's-
come on, dude. Don't fucking, dislike shit because...
You can do that. If you want to make a subreddit devoted to hating on us, be my guest. I would love to see that.
Ooh, publicity.
I'm just saying.
I prefer not.
That just means.
I mean, it's
you're
dark
evil.
and it speaks to issues you've got, but if that's what you need.
Sky, we want to know who you
We're
are
here.
so we can stalk you. And check out the website, orchopexpress.com. You can find all of our various social media outlets there. Thanks for watching and listening, you guys. Have a good night.
And if you want to support us, feel free to check out our t-shirts.
Oh, yeah, t-shirts. T-shirts. Oh, these aren't... You can't get these ones. These are fucking
No,
ours.
maybe these not yet.
Not yet.
Poor bastards.
Not yet. Maybe we can add this design to the
Yeah.
TeePublic.
If you want a shirt like this, let us know. And maybe we'll put it up there.
Yeah, I think we should do it. Find the t-shirts on our website as well. That is actually the best way to support us if you guys want to support us. Get a Big Trouble in Little China inspired shirt that's also got a fantasy twist to it, and that helps us out. So if you guys like it, get it for you, and in some way get it for us.
And people will think you're badass.
Yes.
Trust me.
We will.
They'll
We'll
think you're part of like a motorcycle gang.
Oh man, those orc chaps. They're like
Or-
the sons of,
it's the Orc-Chaps.
chaps.
The Orc-Chop Express.
They're like the Sons of Anarchy.
Wearing
Like,
orc chaps.
Good night.
Man chapter.